Hey everyone, good afternoon. It's an honor to be here. Thank you for warming everybody up for me. Thank you. I hope I can add some value in the 5 minutes that I've got. So I wanted to pick up actually on what was being said before. For me, a lot of the things that I've been finding speaking to young people is that they don't feel like their voice is heard. One of the reasons why, in my opinion, Black Lives Matter and other different social movements have really come to the forefront is because it's young people fueling this and saying we don't stand for this and we want to change the narrative. So today I'm going to be speaking about the importance of youth voice. So I was already introduced prior to this as an award-winning youth activist, social entrepreneur. I'm also a community ambassador. I'm also a secondary school governor, and I'm a filmmaker. So one of the things that I love to do with my films is always to put young people in there and to give them a space to tell their stories authentically. And today, one of the things that I really want us to think about as we're beginning to think about what can happen after, in this new semester or even over the next 5 to 10 years, is this concept of adultism, right? I'm sure some of you may have already heard this term. For me, adultism, or it's actually defined as, is all the behaviors and attitudes which flow from the assumption that adults are better than young people and entitled to act upon young people in myriad of ways without their agreement. Now, for me, one of the things that I really struggle with when I talk to young people is this idea that I know better than them, and I pick myself up at times. But young people, they have a lot of value to add to conversations. And as leaders and those that are important figures in their lives, we need to be trying to find ways to amplify their voice. So at the end of my presentation, I'm actually going to ask you 5 questions that I want you guys to reflect on as you're beginning to go back into your spaces. And the essence of adultism is to disrespect young people. Our society, for the most part, considers young people to be less important than them and inferior to adults, which we know is wrong. But we do it, and we don't always take young people seriously, and we don't always include them in decision making or in the broader life of their communities. And I think today, webinars like this, I can see that the real essence that Ivy House wanted to create today is how do we put young people back into the center place when it comes to the future of education, the future of employment. So what are those 5 questions? How are you empowering youth voice? Number 1, are you listening to young people within your setting? When you get young people in your schools, are you engaging them in conversation, or do you have a dictatorship, this very authoritarian way of dealing with young people? Are you validating your thinking, or are you knocking their confidence? In class, when a young person has an idea, are you allowing them to explore that, or are you kind of shutting them down and slowly eating away at their own kind of confidence in that sense? How often do you spend time with young people, listening to them, learning from them, or even just being your authentic self? One of the things that I really needed when I was in school is to see my teachers as human beings. A lot of the times teachers come in and, they put on this facade that I'm the teacher, you're the student, you must listen to me. But the real relationships that I've learned or I've developed over the years is when the teacher has showed me some of their kind of mistakes that they've made in their past, and they've taught me from an authentic perspective. Next question is how are your young people involved in the leadership decisions? I liked what you said before about the initiative. I don't want to say the wrong name. I think it was Voice 21. I might be wrong. Apologies. But how are they involved in leadership decisions? And finally, when engaging with young people, are you operating from a strengths-based perspective or focusing on their weaknesses? And I think that's very key. Not all young people are going to be great at everything. Some young people are going to be great at one thing and not really great at the other thing. And we need to stop trying to fit, in a metaphorical perspective, young people that are triangles into square pegs. It's not going to happen, in my opinion. And I think that the quicker that we begin to look at a strengths-based approach to dealing with young people, is the better we will be at empowering their youth voice. So I think that was my 4 to 5 minutes. Here's my emails, my Instagrams, all that kind of stuff. I'd love to connect. And as I said, I hope I've added value today. God bless.